Hello friends, this is Growl. Got some exciting news today, well actually yesterday. Blizzard has announced a new tournament in vein of the Mythic Dungeon International. Now there's a side event called the Great Push, and I've been sort of publicly harsh about the MDI format, so I wanted to make a video talking about this and sharing my thoughts as to how I think it's going to affect things. The TLDR is I think it's really awesome. My initial impression is that they correctly have identified what makes the MDI not great, and they're making active steps to change the format to make it better. So first I'm going to go over the format, and then I'll talk about, again, some of my in-depth thoughts on it, and we'll also talk about some drama that sparked from the discussion from the sort of stuff. So the way it works is you set up a team, you apply on game battles, I think, and by the early May, you should get tournament realm access if you're one of the eligible teams. During this time, you can set up your characters, test out things, mess around with a couple of random keys, but you don't actually know the keys that are being used for the tournament. Then signups close, and on the 22nd, they are announced the keys that you have to push. So this is essentially the qualifiers. And you get 2 sets of affixes. For example, tyrannical, necrotic, bolstering, prideful, sanguine depths, which would be terrible, but that, for example, you get 2 sets of affixes, 2 keys, and you have to push them up as high as you can. I'm guessing one's going to be tyrannical, one's going to be fortified. And unlike MDI, where you can just run the same level key over and over again, it will work the same as live. So if you 2 chest the key or 3 chests, it'll go up. And likewise, if you go in and you mess something up and you deplete it, the key level will go down. And the way it works is for these 48 hours, all of the teams will try and push those 2 keys as high as they can. The top 6 teams there will be moved on to the finals. The finals will have 15 hours specifically over the course of 3 days. And they haven't announced exactly how many keys or what level keys that you'll get, but the format will be very similar. You'll get more keys. You'll have to decide how you push them up, and whichever team pushes them up the highest wins. So let's talk about a few of the changes from MDI. First, the tournament is broadcast on YouTube and Twitch, no longer just YouTube, which is awesome. Not that there's anything wrong with YouTube, but Twitch is cool too. Another thing that's awesome is that you can stream your perspective for the whole time if you want to. In MDI, there's a no-compete rule where if you're playing in the cup, you're not allowed to stream, because they don't want big streamers taking away views from the main stage. And in this event, anyone can stream, which will be awesome as a sort of a cut ahead. It looks like our team's going to play. I hope to play. I don't know the exact details of it and if we're going to stream and all that stuff, but I will keep you guys updated. So the streaming thing is cool. The other thing I want to talk about is the prize pool. The prize pool is going to be $20,000 for this event. They've gotten some flack that it was low compared to the MDI. For example, the grand finals is $300,000, but I think you can't simply compare the prize pool to this, which is essentially a 1 or 2 week event and sort of also a test event too. The fact that they put up $20,000 in the first place is awesome. And I think most of the people who don't play in MDI, their problem is the format, not the prize pool. So very happy with the prize pool. I think it's awesome that they're putting money forth towards it. My only one complaint, if I had one about the prize pool, is it would be cool if there was sort of a participation medal to encourage some teams that probably know they couldn't make the top 6, but to at least try their hand at it anyway. Maybe just like an in-game title, or I don't know about a mount, that might be too much, but a title or a transmog, or just something that'll be like, hey, I came on here and I pushed with my team to like plus 20s or whatever in the qualifiers. Be awesome. But the main issue and the reason that it's so great is because this format is so much more accessible than the current MDI format. So when you take something like AWC or any other competitive game in the world, you look at the competitive format and it's essentially just an extension of what everybody does, right? You play 3v3s during arena on ladder, and then the AWC is 3v3 matches, and you watch people do the same things that you could do with the same comps that you could do, and etc. MDI sort of didn't have that, right? You're pushing up keys as high as you can in sort of this endless difficult progression of dungeons, and then MDI isn't that, and it's just, oh, you get this specific key level and you have to run it fast. So not only does the things that go on in the competition not really like relate to what you're doing as a player. But also, if you're a player and you're pushing all the way up, you might not have any interest in even playing MDI because it's sort of something different, right? And what I think is awesome about this is it's so much more accessible to the average player and the people who are pushing high on the ladder. And it's also something that's more understandable as well. One question I have about the format is I'm still not sure is what level the keys you start with in either format, as well as how many keys there be in the finals. They haven't qualified either of those. There might just be 2 keys again in the finals. However, the amount of keys and the level that it starts at changes the strategy a lot. For example, let's say you start these qualifiers with only a +2 key. A lot of the effort will be pushing that key up quickly, right? You want to get the key to a very high level, let's say 23, 24, 25, so you get some shots at the really hard runs that'll make it matter, right? Whereas if let's say the key starts at a 20, it won't really matter too much how fast you push it up. You only have to push it up a couple times and then you get some shots at the ones that matter. So the key level, I think, matters quite a bit. And in the finals, they haven't quite said there's 2 keys that there's going to be. So maybe there'll be more keys and you'll have to choose which ones that you push up or which ones that you put effort forth. So I'm really excited. I think this is a great improvement to the format, and I'm looking forward to participating and also watching as a spectator. One thing I want to talk about is the comments to this. I was a little bit surprised. I was so happy when this was announced, and I scrolled through the comments, and it's actually kind of disheartening what I saw. I'd prefer that you focus on keeping WoW way less on esports. Everything you've done has made the game less fun. Stop with this. Nobody is gonna watch this. I don't like esports. Stop changing the game. Pushing out that turd. There's so many negative comments on the forums, which I'm not going to go and click on these people's profiles, but clearly these are people that don't even play the game, right? These are people who, you know, level 44 WoW Classic account. This is a level 50. Like, probably a lot of these guys maybe don't even play the game anymore, which is kind of ridiculous that they're on here like posting stuff about how much they hate it. And it made me really kind of a little bit sympathetic to Blizzard. I know they haven't done everything perfect in the past, but no matter what they do, if they make changes that in my opinion are only positive for the game, you just have a swarm of people coming in with negative responses. It shows a little bit how fractured the WoW player base is. You know, you have some people that are PvPers, quote unquote, and some people that are raiders, and some people that are Mythic Plus players. And it's like, anytime something good happens in one of those spectrum, or one of those like areas, I guess, or types of game, it's like everyone else comes out of the woodwork and gets angry. And it's like, man, you know, I don't know if it's just a flaw by design that WoW is so fractured, but it is a little bit disheartening. And I kind of understand. Sometimes I would get frustrated with Blizzard too, with some of the changes they make, but God, it's got to be so hard as a designer to work very hard on an event like this and take feedback and then read stuff like this. So I don't know what there is to say about this really, other than I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. Obviously the Battlenet forums are a cesspool, but you know, for instance, there's such a ridiculous takes on this. We're sick of the changes just to make MDI look better. Also remove AoE cap. It doesn't need to exist. I mean, this is just such a bad take, right? The AoE cap has nothing to do with MDI. And it's like, people have this idea that they take everything that they personally don't like about the game and then pin it on certain things. And then it's just like, man. So I guess I don't want to talk about this too much, but yeah, a little bit frustrating. So the main thing I want to talk about is this clip from Limit Max that caused some drama on Twitter recently. You can see this video has a lot of views. One thing that I want to preface this first before I start playing it is that, number one, I love Max. Max is an awesome creator. He's an awesome player. He's an awesome dude. And that, you know, when people stream, you have to be careful with what you take. You know what I mean? Don't judge somebody heavily or be upset or, you know, whatever about what someone says. You know, when you're streaming for 8 hours, 10 hours all the time, you're going to say things that might not be as well articulated or as, you know, that correctly share your views. So just, before you get up in arms or before you support anybody, we're all just people. All the streamers here and all the people on Twitter are just people. But yeah, let's dig into the drama. All right, so let's play this real quick.
Do you think Echo will beat Ellesmere's team, the rank 1 Raider IO right now?
Yeah, so I forgot to preface this. This is a clip. When this was announced, Max was talking about it, and the chat is asking basically what he thinks about the top teams on the ladder right now, i.e. Nerf and Ellesmere's team versus the top teams at MDI now, and all them.
So I mean, I just kind of explained that. I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopefully everyone does well. There might be some people in our guild that go for this. I don't know. It just came out today. Who fucking knows? All I'm saying is, from someone who understands the very top level of the game and player skill, the people who would be most likely to win this would be the best players. And none of the top Mythic Plus on live teams hold a candle in player skill to Echo's MDI team. That's just I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm just telling you how it is. Okay. So if that team's going for, if they're going to put their entire time into this tournament, they're probably going to win. Yeah, I see I've made some of you mad. That's fine. That's not flame, by the way. It may come off as flame. It's not. I've barely even played with those people. I'm just telling you. That generally speaking, over that much time with that much sample size with the exact same keys, you're gonna see that. But also, I could be wrong. Wait till the tournament comes out. Prove me wrong. Then I'm sure you can use that as motivation and prove that wrong. But I'm just. I'm telling. Echo isn't used to pushing 25s yet. Oh my god, you just don't get it. Dude, that team will literally do proving grounds for 2 days and be entirely caught up with high keys to anyone who's doing high keys on ladder right now.
It's a little bit of a hot take. They're good players.
I don't know if their whole team's going to
2
compete.
days.
But I don't think you guys get it. It's okay that you don't get it, but I don't think you get it. I
think there's a little bit more.
Guys, you guys are talking about how Echo's MDI team did when they did high keys. I have no idea what they did. I don't know if they were ranked first. I don't know if... All I know is they basically only do it for stream content, and the main reason that most of the best players in the world don't do high keys is because there's not a lot of incentive. It's not fun for a lot of them. And the few that do it for stream content, right? That's why it's not a thing. But if there's money on the line, there might not be enough money on the line for them to do it, too. I'm just telling you there's not that much time. If Echo's MDI team had not run one live key this entire expansion, literally not one, and they showed up and they signed up and they started at Proving Grounds begin on May 22nd, they would be the heavy favorites for this tournament. just so you all know that. That's fine.
Yeah, definitely some takes to be had there. So I'm going to break down 2 things that Max talked about. Number 1 is that Echo is going to be a favorite and that Echo's team owns, which I think is a given, right? Those guys do own. They're great. The other thing that's insane is that they all look like supermodels too. Like, what the heck? How is this fair? How is this fair that they get to own and they get to be gorgeous, and then here I am, just a cat with a waffle on his head? But the one thing that I will break down, and you'd maybe have to read between the lines a little bit, but it's pretty clear that this is the way he thinks and the way he talks, is he says basically that, look, MDI or live keys aren't competitive, and the people that push high live keys and are the best are only the best because good players don't care. And when we say good players, specifically, he's talking about world first raiders, right? He's talking about players in Echo and in Proxy. I believe personally players in his own guild as well. And he personally believes that, yeah, the people who do live keys, they're okay. But, you know, the only reason that they're on the top is because nobody good plays, which is definitely a really, really hot take. And I think a little bit ridiculous. Talking about live talking about skill is such a ridiculous take, to say that one thing takes more skill than the other. We've seen this debated in gaming since the beginning of time. Oh, I'm a better player than you even though you're higher ranked, or I'm a better poker player than you even though you make way more money. It's like, ultimately, talking about skill is such a ridiculous and silly waste of time to try and articulate, there's all these, basically saying, there's all these raiders that are way better players, but they just don't care about Mythic Plus, which is a silly take, right? That would be the equivalent to me going to Max and saying, yeah, I could be a world first raider easily if I wanted to, but I just don't want to. It's just not fun. What it does is it belittles your accomplishments, right? These guys work hard as hell and they're super good players and they achieved a world first. And for me to say, yeah, no one cares. You and Echo are really the only guilds that care. Everyone else in WoW doesn't care. If we cared, we would get it. It's like, man, it's not so much that his take that Echo's a favorite is wrong. It's more the belittling of the accomplishments of the people that do the highest keys. Which is what he was trying to do on purpose, right? He was trying to do that on purpose. And then in my secret Twitter archive of MS Paint, when this tweet got deleted, essentially, what do you guys love to do in the comments in the Twitch chat? Immediately you take that clip and you throw it in Ellismir's stream, and you throw it in Nerf's stream, and you throw it in, the high key pushers who don't do MDI. Ellismir takes to Twitter. He says, sometimes I forget how disrespectful and toxic some of the top competitive WoW community can be. It's very disheartening. This is supposed to be an exciting and fun day, and it met with very mixed results. Clearly, this was a little bit of a call to arms here. Eventually, in this thread, he ends up pointing out what Max said, and, it's sort of like, trying to stir up a little bit, which is fair, right? Because Max was kind of stirring something up too. Granted, he was egged on by Twitch chat, but at the same time, his take definitely was meant to at least stir up a little bit of something, to which Nagi and some other people, Nagi, famous for his really great takes on Twitter, respond with welcome to 2021, which having an opinion makes you toxic, and respect is deserved and not earned, which, there's some truth to what he's saying here, like, hey, don't be a snowflake. Why do And then he says, many players, including Max, have pushed for the highest performance in WoW before you even had a Twitch account. Good luck competing, though, which is definitely a little bit of a low blow, as if to say, oh, when you played in X expansion, that was way harder and that makes him a better player. No one's doubting Max's ability to play or that Echo's ability to play. It's more so that those people are doubting the abilities of us to play, right? The people that do high keys. And granted, if Max came in here and he slammed everybody and he's doing all-time 26s, yeah, he has the right to talk a little bit of smack. But the fact that he doesn't is like, hey, it's a little bit questionable. And then Ellismir comes back to say how our team has not garnered respect for pushing high keys, the world first keys for many months now. There's a common theme by world first raiders and MDI competitors that players who push live keys are less skilled, and it's insulting and not healthy for the community. I definitely partly agree with this, whether or not it goes strictly in this clip, or, it's the more broader sense of how it feels to be a person that pushes high keys. Absolutely does the world first rating, basically, they will belittle everybody, right? They belittle PvP and they belittle M+, and to an extent, sometimes other groups do that too, right? But it is a little bit disheartening to see someone with Max's audience and with his skill basically say, look, people that do high keys are jokes. The only reason that they're at the top is because people don't care, which is, in my opinion, not a great take. Again, Max was sharing his opinion that Echo is super good and better than everyone else, which, is not wrong. Those guys are amazing. But at the same time, I think if you read between the lines, he's also kind of saying, like, everyone in my guild could also beat Ellismir and Nerf. All those people in Echo could beat Ellismir and Nerf, which is, again, I think a little bit of a stretch. I do want to point out again, these guys are just people, no giving these guys hate. I think that everyone's got an opinion, and ultimately, while what Max said is a little bit, it sparks a little bit of flame there, he's completely within reason to say stuff like that, and who knows, chances are he might be right. You know, Echo might come in and slam someone. And then likewise, you know, I think it was a little off base for Ellesmere to kind of take to Twitter and incite his followers a little bit instead of just, you know, showing up and winning. You know, obviously the Chad move to do is say, all right, see you on the competition, and come up and own everybody. So I would have, you know, someone could have taken the moral high ground here and been a little bit better. So I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say. What do you guys think? Are the MDI teams just going to come in here and smash everyone? Are we going to see, you know, some of the top key pushing teams like Durf and Ellesmere take a spot? Or who knows, will we see a bear in the top 6? So anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Leave a like and a comment and a subscribe and stuff. I'll be coming out with more vids, hopefully, as more WoW content evolves. And again, remember to follow my stream as well. I'll be hopefully streaming this event with my squad. So happy keying.